You want to look at, I saw you sent me emails. Do you want to look at those?
Yeah, let's look at those and
Okay.
go from there. So I've watched some of the Painting with Fire. I haven't really watched the latest one, which looks beautiful though. I want to talk to you about that. But
Is it the one that was released, the background one?
no, that one I've actually been playing with that. I was kind of surprised, but I think I've been working on these really, like you said, dark and highly colored pieces, and I want something that's more subdued. So I've been working on the backgrounds, but yeah, there are things to talk about. But also the one that was just posted that has it's a photo transfer thing. I wanted to ask you, do you do, when you're printing, do you ever send that film through the printer?
I've never done it. No.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the transfer onto the surface of the wax.
No, it actually the transfer is to rice paper.
Oh, and then they embed the rice paper into the
right. And then that is, that's what's waxed and everything's done to that.
That sounds too complicated.
Well, if you see the first picture, I saw the first picture and I thought, oh my gosh. Anyway. So if you haven't, I think there's a woman here who's.
Is it Patty Rosati? Do you remember her name? Is it the
name?
Oh.
But there's a woman here who has done that film, putting onto plastic film to go through a printer. So I'll ask her if she can do that because I don't want you to mess up your printer.
I've never done it. Yeah, I you know what? I feel too like my printer, not that my printer's on its last legs, but that my computer, just like, when you have something that works and you're like,
that's why I don't want to introduce any. So I was just asking if you did it, fine.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I'll do someone here. Okay, so this is the first one.
Look how you fixed her back. It's beautiful.
Oh, well, that was underneath. That was the encaustic that was underneath.
This green part?
Yeah, this little, like that, right. And yeah, I'll leave it and see what you think. If you think it's okay, I'll just leave it.
I love it. I mean, the only thing I might say is that the only comment I might have is that I feel like that yellow, like this yellow over here works really well. This yellow on her hair, I think is too strong.
Yeah, I don't like it.
But I wouldn't take it off because I think taking it off would just cause more problems. I would actually just put like a light green or a very pale light white over top of it. Yeah, because remember, you always ask yourself, just go through your little list that you're now really incorporating into your memory and be like, off, like blend by taking it away or blend by adding something else on top. Okay, so a lot of the times it's easier when you have something like constructed pretty much. If you don't want to destroy what you have, just add something on it that'll just subdue it or calm it down.
Just a lot of medium, a little bit of green.
I don't even think you have to add any wax in this situation. I think you could just add a little bit of pigment stick in a lighter color right on top.
Okay.
I wouldn't even add any wax because then if you add the wax, then you're going to be like, well, what shape is it? And blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
All the stuff that goes along with adding the wax. And then you're like, oh, do I feel, like, what do I do?
Right. Okay. So pigment stick with that green, but very, very light. Okay.
Yeah. And that'll just soften the yellow, right? And it will just take down, the sharpness of that line that you put in there.
Yeah, I didn't like the way I etched those lines, but yeah, so that'll help. Good.
Right, but again, like it's sort of like action reaction, right? So you should feel confident in doing whatever you do, but then when you process and edit, then you can sort of make decisions about, how much of it do you want to keep?
Yeah. Okay.
Good. Right, and how could it like benefit you more if it was a little bit something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about those. And with the dress, oh my goodness, I looked up all kinds of dresses done and the folds. So
I think you did a great job with the dress. I really think.
I scrape back all that texture. So I have a lot of wax, and then I just painted it, and
No, I think you did a great job. I
good.
really do. I think you did a great job. I mean, if anything, another suggestion is this area underneath her arm
Yeah.
is
Oh,
just
right.
so it's just so sharp.
Oh, soften it. Okay.
So just it's almost like you took it and you just like went like a per
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Okay.
kind of, like maybe just rough it like the 1 2 1 2, and you could almost even do it, by adding the green over top of it just to break up the red line, as if
Mhm.
or the red going over the green, whichever is
Okay.
easier, whichever one you have more a hand of. Like if you have that magenta red pigment stick, just take a little brush and
Mhm.
just like under her breath, like just go
Yeah.
out, just brush it out a little bit,
Soften. Okay.
just so it
Okay.
doesn't look like she's just so, like she doesn't even look human because she's just so completely
Well, the other thing is
perfected.
because the wax is different. You can't see it here, but the wax is different thicknesses, so that'll help soften that part too.
Right.
Well, and then so I painted, the way, I looked at the different folds and blah blah blah. And then I wanted to put a little bit of texture back in. So
Yeah, you added the stencil.
yeah, just a little bit of a little bit of lace. So is that
Yeah.
okay, you think?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I almost feel like you could add a little bit more,
Okay.
just like free form, even like over here. Cause again, like this line
Okay.
gets like so perfect. But what if like right here, let me.
Okay.
I think it's easier if I do this in Photoshop because then at least we have a record of what we talked about.
Yeah.
So here,
Mhm.
this is what I was talking about. So I'm gonna paint with the red. Oh wait, hang on, that's not a good color, huh?
I like the shape a lot better than the other shape too. I didn't like that
Right,
shape.
like you got our boot, right? But what if there's just like, I don't know. I mean, just something here, as if it could even be like it's like, like another, just something,
A little lace coat. Yeah. Okay.
right? I mean, I don't know, just like a little.
Okay.
And then here, I feel like you could maybe even take like some of this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Oh, it's not gonna let me do that. Hold on. Like if there were like something coming off of here,
Oh.
like just a little bit of, I don't know, like and
Yeah.
just sitting on top of the green, like not.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah. When I looked at it, it feels to me that it needs something that kind of pulls it all together. Like there's a block of something and a block, and that I think some of these softening things will help.
Yeah, I mean, just like, and you could even do it with like, see how these are dots?
Yeah.
You could even just make like tiny little like encaustic waxy dots with like with a little paintbrush, just to suggest, because like it's these nice little bits of texture here. I mean, just to suggest something here,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and it doesn't have to be specific in any way. And the same with this. It's like,
mm-hmm.
just see how I'm just like kind of, and look, I can
Yeah,
turn down the
right.
opacity on this.
Bring it down. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it don't take it away, like it's fine, but look how nice it looks like underneath,
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
so it's like it's not like you did anything wrong. It's just like, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just kind of like breaking it up to makes it look more like there's movement, and less
Yeah,
like it's
I'd
such
rather
a,
have movement. Yeah,
right,
okay.
less that it's such a freeze frame. I mean, I think that's, that's two of the things that I really liked about, my photography specifically. It was like, suggestion of blur, nothing was super crispy sharp,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
the things that are out of focus, I feel like are purposely that way to evoke the imagination and sort of allow storytelling. because you're not like ending everything with a hard line, you know?
Right, right. I'm going back to, with this, I was going back to the literal photograph, you know, like that, in that sense, instead of
Well,
having.
right, but that's where but that's your instinct, and you're sort of trying to teach yourself a new language. So your instinctual language is to say it this way. So you can do that, but then when you look at it again, or you get a little critique on it, then you can be like, oh yeah, that's fine, but something needs to give. Like there needs to be like a rhythm, like a bouncy back and forth between the literal and the looser, imaginary, ephemeral.
Yeah, I really like that. And I've been doing, because I'm a little restricted in shooting right now, I've been doing more flower, but with camera movement. So there's more, so just
that's nice.
Learning, just kind of learning that and getting a feeling for it, because I love blur of dancers dancing, so bring those in, that feeling into the picture. Okay.
So great. Look, so here's like the before, here's, and I like the, this is the two.
Yeah, I like it a lot better.
Right. And I mean, and too, like if you use a semi-translucent pigment stick and just kind of like put some brushy stuff around over this hard line, you're not getting rid of it. You can leave it there. Don't change it. Just kind of like, almost like you're rubbing it out a little. You're just blurring the eye from looking straight at this, like this, and looking more at like this,
Great.
Yeah. Okay. All right, 2 little touches on that. I'll send you this picture. It's like before. I
can take a screen grab.
Oh, here, I'll open that one back up then. Hold on one second.
Because then I have it right away. Hang
on. Yeah, and where did the
first? Got it. Okay, I got it.
Oh, you did? You got that one? All right.
Okay. Okay, so the next one, has different issues.
Oh, wait, different issues. Hold on.
But it's.
Wait, this is one of the this is the ladies in the tree, right?
Right. So. Oh
yeah. Okay. Wait. This is the one you had before. Right. And we had talked about adding a little bit of texture on the left-hand side.
Well, okay. Well, the thing is, there is texture in the wax, and I love it. I purposely used a brush, and I was just kind of doing a wave-like motion. I couldn't pick up on the ridges with the pigment stick. So then I thought, well, I took a brush that I have that has little things coming out, like the brush is here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
And then there's little things. So I had to actually manually put the pigment on the brush, and then I do a couple of strokes. I had to put more pigment on.
Right.
I'm not crazy about it. To me, it looks it's too busy. But what I really wanted was that, what's the texture that was the original brush stroke? But I don't know how to get that.
You didn't scrape that off, did you? The original brush stroke was still there.
I didn't scrape it off. This is yeah.
So, and then this is done with encaustic wax, the light colored?
No, that's pigment. All the light colors, I put.
This is pigment?
That's pigment.
And it's dry now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just think it's too, and if I remember correctly, not in this picture, but the original is really like a pretty blue. It's like a real dark bluey green, right? Like a blue.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like more gold in this picture. So again, what I would do, and I'm just going to take a screenshot of this, and not to make it like, not to cause more yourself more problems, right? But sort of to remedy from where you are now, right? Move forward. You could just take this color, the
blue.
Blue with like an extender stick, right? And make it fairly translucent, and just kind of like
soften of course.
Right. And again, it's just like, so it's like, now you can kind of control where this is going to be light and dark, and really you want to emphasize, I think, these, because these are like, right. Remember when we were talking about hierarchy of imagery, right? So if you want something to be more important than something else, you either make it bigger or brighter, right? Those are your 2 sort of adjectives, bigger or brighter, or descriptions, right? So then everything else has to go below, beneath, right? Below, behind. So, right. So you can kind of go, and you can control now what's the most important thing, you know, by how the translucency of your pigment stick, basically. Right. And if the pigment stick is opaque, you know, then you're going to go get rid of it. Now, it might be almost impossible to totally get rid of it, but are you liking that better?
I like it. I do like it better.
Okay. So,
and the other thing I was thinking of,
I love it now. And I don't mind these I don't mind these textures underneath. I really actually kind of like them.
Okay.
Good. So, you know, and the nice thing about R&F paints, and this is not true for Encausticos paints made by Fine Art Store, but R&F pretty much consistently, if they make it in encaustic, they make it in the pigment stick. So that's actually kind of a really, really nice thing, is because it's like using the same color, you know, kind of hard and soft, right? You have the same pigment in two very different mediums that work really well together, but have totally sort of different jobs.
Yeah.
You know, like the pigment stick for me really is about like toning the wax, getting, you know, bright, showing off texture, hand painting, you know, like those types of things. Whereas, you know, the wax's job is to create those textures, be more sort of bold and heavy, and give the weight, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a bird and a butterfly. Like the wax is the bird, and you know, and the pigment stick is the butterfly.
Cool. Yeah, I do. I have that. How do you call it? The flatlow blue.
Phthalo. You don't say the P. I think it's phthalo. Yeah.
Okay, phthalo blue. So you don't say the phthalo blue and caustic and pigment stick, because I love the color, and I love that phthalo green too. It's just, whoa.
Yeah.
So
I know, and that magenta, like those are really and gold. I mean, technically, cyan, magenta, and yellow, right, are the founders of color imagery, right? So using those strong colors in single paintings is really interesting.
So here's a question. I really like what you've done here, but just as a question, the pigment is dry on this one. But what I've been doing is, like, I'll take just vegetable oil and I'll rub it on, because there were a couple of places I wanted to do some corrections in other parts of the picture, and it came up. The pigment stick came up. So if I got it off and I have the original texture, is there any way, it's very subtle texture, but is there any way I could pick up those ridges with
you just have to go, you have to put the pigment stick or a pan pastel right on. You could probably even use like a makeup pad. I mean, I might just use my finger, but you have to touch it. You have to touch it so gently, like as if you were like CGI, or like, I'm sorry, like CSI, like investigator picking up a fingerprint, right?
Oh, so it's not trying to rub it in together.
No, you're just trying to rub, like you're literally you know, trying to detect like a fingerprint on a flat surface. Like you're just wanting, you want the pigment stick just to sit on like the very, very surface.
Oh, okay.
Of the wax.
Okay, so I'm not trying to catch it, you know, and have it in a, okay. Yeah, so I was doing the wrong technique on that. So I don't know. I mean, I like what you've done. You know, maybe I'll try one little area and see if I can do it the other way. You know.
Yeah, I mean, this is a thing for you too, because we've talked about this with your work before. Is like how much pressure to apply and when, right? So it's like, you know, if you're rubbing hard with the pigment stick on the wax, yeah, you're going to push it into crevices and stuff. But if you go very, very lightly, gently across the top, you can put it just like resting on top.
Yeah, because on the right hand side, everything is, you know, it's really pushed in.
Right.
The little holes. I really want to play with the texture here. So
wait, now you're talking about removing these whitish yellow lines and then trying to put just white on the wax texture with no lines
on the left hand side.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm just afraid that you're gonna hurt it.
Yeah.
You try to get that other paint off, but you could try an
I
area.
could try one little area and.
Yeah, try a corner. Try like a corner.
Right. Okay.
Because worst case scenario, listen, and worst case scenario is you reapply another layer of that wax in that phthalo color, which is an option too. It's always an option to wax again.
Yeah. Okay. I just got really fascinated by the texture, using the texture of the wax, and, I had all kinds of ideas of stars, all that. And I thought, no, I just want to work with the wax, what the wax is doing. So,
right.
Okay.
Well, I like it a lot like this. I'm going to send you this. You can contemplate this. I mean, I like it.
No, I really like how you fixed it.
Well, I like the repetition that you have this line, you have this sweeping line large over here on the right, but then on the left, you have this sweeping, it's the mirror image of the shape.
Yeah.
But it's repeated and small. I don't know. I like that juxtaposition.
Well, and then also the flag, it was very stencily. And so what I did is I just started pulling back on it, and make it more ragged.
Yeah.
So I like that modification. So, okay, these next ones, let me see. If you look, there's an order to these. So why don't you go to the third picture first?
This one?
Yeah, that one, right. Okay, so what she was showing us is, this is just a test strip. I just want to see. Okay, so this woman was doing the Yes adhesive. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I used to use Yes Paste for everything. I don't use it anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and she had it very wet, so I started doing that. And
with Yes Paste.
Yes Paste.
So right. The problem with Yes Paste is that it's very humidity sensitive. So it dissolves over years. Like 5 years later, the Yes Paste gets wet again. If it's in a humid location, it gets wet again because it's very wettable.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask you about the archival stuff. Although
I won't use Yes Paste for anything because of that reason. However, it's not the only medium that can do this. I mean, you could do the same thing with PVA glue or with gel medium.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, the other thing, I'm in Arizona, so it's always dry.
So you might not have a problem. I have a problem because now Pennsylvania too, more and more, it rains more and more here. Like you wouldn't even believe it.
Wow.
Like it's more humid. Wow. I mean, this year's been the most rainy year I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, I wish we had that.
I know, it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
For me, for this stuff, I just thought, well, I'll just play with it because I've been thinking I wanted to do more subtle things, and have a little more complexity. So anyway, so
I love it.
If you look at the next one.
Okay, so this was the collage. So she basically had you make it like all the papers wet. So they blended together with the gel and then you let it dry and then you wax over it.
Well, yeah, but I'm not even at that. So she would have like, the heartache. Oh, no, not that one yet. Go to the ends. That's something else. Because I wanted to show the process. So this one was when it was all, then she had us put chalk paint on. So because it's acrylic chalk paint, so I'm testing it to see if it works.
Right, I think the chalk paint is going to work with the encaustic because there's chalk in it. I think you're fine. I think the chalk has like a something that works with wax. So it's fine.
So I got this like a cheap little setup just to try it out. So I wanted to see if it'll hold up. So anyway, so this is after I put the chalk paint on. Okay, so this is all new for me.
I love it. Yeah. No, it's great.
And then the third one, I put the encaustic on.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I love this. I know. I just love it.
It's beautiful.
Well, so those were my test pieces.
Okay, so wait. So now, like Lorraine, she's probably has I don't know what she's teaching on here, but she uses this layer of wax and then cuts out flowers and uses it and embeds them in this layer.
Real flowers?
No, pictures of actually she does photography, but she primarily uses like magazine pictures.
Okay. Well, so with this one, what she was saying is you do, you know, like transparent, no, I mean, regular with the yes, and then you put in things like the back of a napkin. There could be a flower, the back of a napkin, just
Right.
really subtle. So I didn't get into that with flowers, but and then you put the chalk paint on, and then the encaustic.
Okay.
So you're saying that with what Lorraine does, I could, if I'm putting the encaustic on, I could put pictures of flowers on this, that, at that
Yeah,
point.
so I mean, and I can give you a demo in the studio on this the next time we meet if you want. But basically, once you have a layer of wax medium, you can take a cutout, put it on there, use a tacking iron. You can even brush a little bit of medium over the photo and then fuse it in there and let it cool. And then basically it's attached.
Oh, okay, I get
The image. So it doesn't have to be, this is the thing too, it's like, it's very exciting, even for me, because I used to always put my photos at the back of the pile.
Right.
So that my photos were on the base
Right.
next to the panel, and then the layers of wax would go on top. But
Right.
with all of these other new, you know, techniques that people are coming up with and sharing, it's like you could have a photo, then you could have 3 layers of wax, and then you can embed a flower in the layers of wax closer to the surface. And further away from the original subject photo or whatever, or content.
Yeah. So that's good. That's good. So the next one, then I tried.
We now have to go back. Hold on. Then you put the figure in it. Then you put
not that one. The other one before that. This one before that. Okay. These I haven't put any encaustic on. It's just the background, and these I just put there just to kind of. I tried different combinations. So.
But it's interesting. Wait, let's talk about this for 1 second. I don't like the gray one as much as I like the brown one.
Right. That's interesting. Okay.
Because I don't like that.
I can do things. I haven't put them on yet. I could do things. The gray one. I
think you should hand color it. I don't think it should be so cold tone. I think that the background is so warm tone.
Yeah.
I think that it's just too shocking. Gray.
Well, I was thinking first. I thought, well, maybe I could do like a light encaustic wash. I haven't put any encaustic on yet.
Well, don't forget, you can paint any of those papers that I gave you with watercolor.
With watercolor?
Yeah, watercolor.
Oh, cool.
So you can actually
or hand color. Okay.
Yeah, you can hand paint any of the rice papers or the Hanomule papers or any of those. You can use color. Do you know those colored pencils? Colored washable colored pencils. You can use liquid watercolor or hard, you know, and you could just slightly put it. You can even paint your papers with tea, like an orange Pico tea.
I did that. I have a toning tea in the garage. Yeah, and just tone that.
Just paint a little bit of the tea on this picture. And if you wanted to leave the figures black and white, like maybe just the tree gets toned, you know, which
actually I could just soak it in the tea for a while. Make sure.
Have you ever heard of a photographer named Phil Borges? He's oh wait, I just have to show him to you real quick. So he split tones everything. One of my really good friends worked for him for years. He's pretty cool guy. He travels the world, but all of these photos are made.
Oh wow, look at these. Yeah,
you would love these. So they're all analog, they're all darkroom, and they're all split toned.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool.
So the brown people, their skin is colored and the background is silver. Oh my God, I have to call my stupid. Aren't they beautiful?
They are beautiful.
They're so beautiful. Yes. And this speaks exactly to sort of your color. I mean, when you're working in neutrals, the color palette.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love this. So he's toning them digitally or
no, in the darkroom. He used to paint them with mask. He would paint them with this red mask medium and then tone them and then remove. It was kind of like a jello. It stuck to the paper, but then you could take it off.
There's like a not lithograph.
It was the weirdest stuff. It was like this red jelly.
Wow.
And he would paint, he would print them in black and white, and then he would paint the backgrounds, and then he would tone the people. I know, aren't they beautiful?
Yeah. Oh, thank you for showing that to me. Wow,
Yeah.
that. Oh, look at it. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's, and then this is a really good example too, because I'm thinking a lot about this for my new work, is I really want my background and foreground. I really want my backgrounds to go way back. And I want my people and the things to be, I want them to be coming out like kind of like really like this. Look how 3-dimensional this is.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
And even with this second out of focus figure makes it even more, right? Like look at this one with the animals too. All right. Anyway, Phil Borges. He's going to be in your video. He's going to be in the video. Hold on. I know. I love him. Yeah. So one of my roommates and friends from college was his assistant for years in Seattle. So I got to go to his studio and it was pretty cool.
Very cool. Okay. I'll look him up. I love that. So yeah, I was thinking also that I wanted to do something with that black and white. I love the back one, but the black and white one. Yeah. So that, let me see what I can do to.
Yeah. Maybe the rock goes like, maybe the tree goes brown and the rock could go like a bluish, green, or like a blue brown, like some, I don't know. I mean, or brown, whatever.
Right. Okay, great.
Colored, you can always do stuff with dry colored pencils too.
Okay.
Because colored pencils are very light. Like you're hard, it's very hard to get to get an opaque color out of a colored pencil.
Yeah.
You have to really put some muscle into that.
So what I did is I made this background. I knew I wanted it neutral and kind of brown, although I see a lot of green there.
It looks like a map. It's so beautiful. It looks like a map. It really looks like a map.
Huh.
So I feel like if you made any type of if you followed any of the ridges and made them like veiny, it would really look like a map.
Oh, cool.
If you wanted to put any lines in it. Or like you've been working on the constellations. I love your inclusion of like the world, the atmosphere, nature, the geography, land, sky, like maps of things.
No, I love maps. I'd love to do more with them. Okay.
This looks so much like a map to me. Huh. Like this is a land line right here. This is water. Right, this is like a mountainous area over here.
I see it now. Oh, that's so
mountains cool. Over here. Yeah.
Well, one thing she was saying about doing the backgrounds is you're not painting. You're just doing like a background.
Right. You're not thinking compositionally, and you're not thinking foreground. Back. You're not thinking content. You're just covering space with color.
But I like the idea of the map, showing the map.
Well, just.
So this was just a test thing, I want to, and like I said, I haven't even tried to glue the photographs down yet. But can I use PVC over once this is totally dry?
So I'm gonna try this layer on top of the wax, not with PVA glue. I'm gonna try it with the gel medium myself, like this week, hopefully. I mean, I'm going to the Encaustic conference on Thursday, so I'm going to be gone a couple of days, but I'm really going to, I'm going to try 2 pieces, and they're just going to be old boards that I have. I'm going to glue, I have a bunch of boards I want to recycle anyway. So rather than scrape them all the way back, I think I'm just going to scrape them flat.
Right.
And work from there, because they'll end up looking a lot like this, like they'll just look like abstract. So I'm going to do one rice. I'm going to try to use the rice paper. I'm not going to use the photo rag. I'm going to use the rice paper. I'm going to do one with gel medium and one with PVA glue.
And then you'll know which
one. And then I'm going to just test them. I mean, they might act exactly the same. I mean, I have a feeling that I might not even be able to tell, but I think that I usually mention in my workshops too, like my bad experience with Yes Paste. Like I really have had, I've had really, really important pieces destroyed by Yes Paste because it comes unglued. So I switched to PVA glue and wood glue because the wood glue just it's strong enough to stand up to the humidity. So I mix the PVA glue. If I'm working on something larger than 11 by 14, when I kind of get bigger than that, I use 50-50 PVA glue and wood glue.
Okay.
The only problem with the wood glue is that it can even on the photo rag paper, it can yellow the paper.
Oh.
Because the wood glue actually is actually very yellow.
So
then that's like, okay, then you're like, okay, well, maybe a quarter wood glue, 3/4 PVA glue. So it's just about getting the formula. Right. Anyway.
Well, I had no idea about different adhesives. I mean, I've been using PVA because that's what you start.
That's what I love. That's my number one. Number one.
But I just thought, well, I'll test out this other thing. So,
yeah, test it. Test the PVA glue because you have it. And then if you feel like buying a small, and again, like, you know, if you're gluing a small object, you're going to get away with more because it's just not as big. And for me, I just don't, again, rule from past experience, I don't glue any large pieces of paper.
Right.
Even if I'm gluing a 20 by 24, I cut it up.
Oh, interesting.
I strip it. I either, and then I square it and I put it back together.
Wow.
So that's just become like a preventative medicine for me, almost like taking my vitamins, because I feel more confident that those individual pieces will not become undone. I won't have large air bubbles. Like, I'll just be easier to handle it. I'll feel less stressed, like a long list of overall reasons. And it's become sort of part of my signature work now that there's a bit of like patchworky things put together underneath. Not that it's not all together. That's a really good analogy. It's not all together underneath.
Right. Okay.
Quote, says the artist, right? Like, okay, not perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I feel these are tests, and with the that just means I can't give it to anybody who's out of Arizona, who's in a humid environment.
No, you can, but I mean, I'm talking about work like 15, 20 years. I mean, you can, but I just feel like as a like,
Yeah. So,
and again, like if someone, it's in there, if it's climate control storage 24/7, its whole life, it will not probably have a problem.
Yeah.
These are pieces that were in my studio, but whatever. I mean, I still just felt uncomfortable.
Yeah. Right.
With
well,
it.
So let's go to the next one. So the next one was a little different. I had did the background thing, and then I didn't put there's plain wood under the photograph itself.
Okay.
But I did use the Yes Glue with some Mod Podge. And the Mod Podge on the background and that. So I'm going to see once it's dry, and I haven't put encaustic on it. So I want to see if that's going to hold up.
Okay.
Maybe it may not.
Yeah. Wait, let's talk about this piece. I need to call you back because I have this stupid Zoom thing. I need to call you back with another call. So let's hang up on this and I'll call you right back.
Okay.
All right.